المشروعات والمجالات المهمة جدا. بدأناها دايما بالمشروع الأهم اللي أنا دايما بنقول عليه أهم مشروع الدولة المصرية بتنفذه، مشروع حياة كريمة. وحضراتكم تابعتوا، كنا في قرية زاوية صقر، وكنا يعني الحقيقة قرية في مركز أبو المطامير، ويعني الحقيقة شفنا كل المشروعات المهمة جدا اللي بتنفذتها الدولة في هذه القرية. ويمكن استعرضنا الخدمات الموجودة والقوافل الطبية اللي بتقدم، السوق اليوم الواحد، والمراكز المختلفة اللي موجودة في القرية. ويمكن الحقيقة كنت بتكلم مع السيدة المحافظ على ضرورة ان اللي تم النهاردة الحمد لله تنفيذه.
About the importance of today's projects and the need to follow up with these projects. As you've seen today, we saw several projects that the private sector is investing in. We visited a farm which produces for export. We also visited a factory for food production as well as exports, and these projects are fulfilled to the highest international standards. And as I said, anything that is being asked of the government for them to assist them with their productivity, we are ready to fulfill. We've seen these projects providing thousands of job opportunities and, of course, increasing exports, which is economically beneficial for us as a nation, and hence we encourage such projects. We wrapped up our visits in the health sector, visiting the Wadi Natrun Hospital, and I heard from my colleague, the Minister of Health, the need for the services provided by the hospital and the regional services, especially because this hospital is very central and can serve different areas. I want to talk about the situation that we've seen with the start of the war and attacks and the developments between Israel and Iran. And over the last few months, I would like to remind you that we have been speaking about the dangers of an escalation in the region. Of course, as you've seen, yesterday's attacks is a great escalation which holds great dangers for the region, and Egypt has been very clear with regards to this escalation, as Egypt has said and condemned these military attacks that Israel launched on Iran. And of course, God forbid, we don't know what these escalations can lead to. And now we're seeing this war between Iran and Israel, and it can very easily escalate to other countries in the region, and we are hoping and praying to God that this does not happen. And as this will result into a regional crisis, which will result into an international crisis. We must always keep this in mind, and I've always spoken to you about this. As a government, we are always dealing with different scenarios. And of course, yesterday when this erupted, the first thing we did, I was constantly in touch with the Minister of Petroleum and Electricity and the Central Bank Governor and the Minister of Finance to secure and see what these attacks can do to the energy sector. And of course, we have a plan in place to secure our energy sector, and we even said this summer, God willing, we will not have any electricity rationing, and this is our aim. And we hope to fulfill this promise. However, what happened yesterday has direct effects on the natural gas delivered to Egypt, which assists in the provision of fuel to our electricity stations. That is why we have started straight away to discuss strategies and plan Bs in order to address our energy sector needs. Another thing to consider is our plan that we had in place the issue of importing ships with the Minister of Petroleum. In Egypt, we only had one ship which liquefies natural gas, and we wanted to have 3 more ships over the summertime in order to provide the service of liquefying natural gas, changing it into gas form, in order to triple our output in this regard, in order to cater for the increase in the electricity usage over the summer and ensure that our electricity stations are working to full capacity, especially when they rely on natural gas instead of mazot. Thank God. Actually, Egypt has 3 ships now. However, we had 2 other ships on the way. And these ships need time in order to be prepared and connected to the stations and the very technical issues. And we have one in the Sukhna port, and it will start operations on the 27th or 28th of July. So we have about June. So we have about 2 weeks to go, which will provide us with more needs. The next ship will be in service. It is in Beheira port, and we will move it to Sukhna port, and it will be joining in the beginning of July. This is how we will have 3 of these ships pumping gas, natural gas, for the needs of all our electricity stations, and hopefully we will be covered over the months of summer, and we will not be fully dependent on any other sources in case there is any cuts or regional disruptions in the liquefied natural gas. And this was our plan, and God willing, with these 2 ships, we will hopefully, God willing, be secure in this regard. With regards to the next 2 weeks, we are going to increase other sources of power in order to feed our electricity stations and double them at least. And this was also part of a plan that we've been working on since last year's summer and the electricity cuts that we witnessed last year, in order to secure the needed energy for our electricity stations and the needs for the whole country. I just like to emphasize, to show the citizens how much the government is hard at work in order to secure these things. And a very important issue that citizens need to be aware of is to ration for themselves. We all need to be aware and to work together in order to ration our usage. And the citizen needs to be aware of how demanding this is for the state. So please, I am calling upon all citizens to be careful, to ration our electricity uses, so we hopefully have a clear summer this year. We also have another challenge, which is the situation in the region, and we have several scenarios in place with regards to the escalation in the region. And what we are expecting is this situation is not going to be over in just a few days, but will be ongoing for a while, and obviously this will have negative consequences on the region as a whole. That is why we, as a nation, have decided to delay the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. And of course, we are expecting the situation to further escalate. Hence, we have decided to postpone the Grand Egyptian Museum inauguration for another time, probably till the last quarter of this year, and the day specifically has not been decided upon, but we will announce it as soon as we know. But of course the situation in the region is not very encouraging. To have this Grand Egyptian Museum inauguration ceremony, and this is another issue that I wanted to inform you about. And of course we are hoping that this war and this situation eventually calms down and stops, because of course, God forbid, if further escalation happens, this will have great and dangerous consequences on the region as a whole. And we will unfortunately be involved in this regional war, and we are hoping, God willing, that this does not happen any further. I'd like to thank you very much and wish you all the best, and we meet in our weekly meeting. Thank you very much.